West Mill Road, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I'm going to switch it to a Zestimate, not ones that are currently for sale. Okay, so now I'm going to hit search. And this is currently what it's showing us. It's got 3 results, but obviously it's really, really close. So this would be, this looks like almost like a 1 block radius. So I'm going to back this out a few, okay? And this is 1, 2, I mean, we could probably even back it out 1 more. Okay, so now these are all these houses that have sold, but we have to filter these a little bit more because we don't want for sale, we don't want pre-market, we don't want for rent. Okay, we want recently sold. 125, but again, we have a lot of other filters.
Yeah, they're not multi-family.
Yes, only single family. Okay, so now we're down to 96. We have to put the sold in the last, I'll do 90 days. So now we're down to 4. We're at 4, so I'm going to leave it at that for right now, just to kind of see. We can always filter that more. You know, this is how I always run comps, is I try to get a number where I think I want to be, which is typically going to be, you want at least 3, okay? If you have a couple dozen, then that's when you start filtering it a little bit more. So like if this would have came up with, let's say 20, then I would start getting a little bit more specific. But first, let's just see, because I might have to zoom out a little bit, because we're still only at, you know, we're at about probably a 4 or 5 block radius right now. We probably could zoom out 1 more if we needed to. So my search was 8211 West Mill Road. Okay, so we've got one at 64 North 81st. That's pretty close. I mean, and that was 115. Okay, here's one at 80. Here's one at 118. And this one is at 51. So are we going to use the one for 51? No, because that's obviously some fix up there. I'm going to actually go out 1 more and see if I pick up. Obviously, there's quite a few more in there. This house is on Mill Road. Okay, it does have the frontage road, but that might still factor in people a little bit. I'm assuming this line here is probably that little neighborhood thing that was on the other one, right? So we're all in that neighborhood, so that actually works out well. So I'm going to look around here. I mean, 158, obviously I'm throwing that out almost instantly. And I've got a lot of them in the 40s and 50s. I'm going to take those out. In your opinion, if you were looking at this right now, what are the numbers you would probably seriously start using?
If you were looking to do a rehab, 115 to 118 to 115.
And I would say that's pretty close.
Probably pull in even probably the 80.
Okay. I'm not sure if I would pull that one, but I would definitely.
3-bedroom, 2-bath.
I'm looking. No, this is a 4-bedroom.
Got an 80 up there.
I know. I'm clicking on the ones that we're saying we might pick.
Right.
And this was the house that we have is only a 1-bath. So.
I would have just threw that in because it was a 2-bath.
These higher ones are 2-baths. What's the 70? That's a 3-2. Boy, what are we gonna have to maybe do when we rehab this?
I would have drove by to see what those houses are only.
Obviously, 2-bath, 1.5 bath, 2-bath. All right. Well, here's one that's only a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, so it must only be worth $47,500, right? Because it only has 1 bath. You think it's worth spending a few grand on an extra bath if it adds, $70,000 to the value? Well, obviously so yeah. I mean, I'm obviously this is a good indication that I really am going to have a second bathroom in there, right? So if we put that second bathroom in, and we really can't use that unless we're going to add another bedroom. So we have 115. We have 115. And, that 118 is hard because it's a 4-bedroom, but I would look at that as that's probably right around there. I'm looking probably right around that 115 if I'm using Zillow, okay? So now let's do it in MLS.
Well, hold on, one point to make real clear. What did he just do with Zillow? He did the same thing that he's about to do with MLS as he looked at actual comps. If you notice, the Zestimates had nothing to do with the sale prices. Yeah. That house that sold for 118 had a Zestimate of Let me just go through them. One had his estimate of 92,000, sold for 54. One of those other examples that had a sale price of 118, I think his estimate was 101. Point is, the Zestimate numbers, which is what will get people coming in and sharing with us, this is what I think it's worth, is nonsense. But you can use Zillow, as Dan just demonstrated, to do what he's about to do in the MLS
Yeah.
in a more refined way.
I guess I never even thought of looking at the Zestimate because I'm looking at, because you have this neighborhood with a wide range, you know, from the 40s all the way up to the 150s. I'm not, you know, and you got a 143 in there. I'm not using the Zestimate because obviously, yeah, I don't really know how it does that math because you have 72.9 on the one that we just typed in, and then you've got 54 for the sold, but like Eric said, 92 on the Zestimate,
I think
157, and then that's 124. Just don't use,
Value.
yeah, just don't use, I would never use the Zestimate. Yeah,
Well, by looking at sold, you're looking at actual facts. You know
Right.
that happened. That was
yeah,
real.
and I really have no
Nobody
idea
guessed.
how they're calculating these estimates. I mean, I really don't.
I don't
Look
think
at the
they
comparison, but I'm curious.
But we've just seen all of our rehab houses, they're left.
But then we've seen, you know, that I mean, some of them, you know, I mean, just to not, again, we're not using these, but here, it's sold for 54, but the estimate was 92, so that's higher. But then this other one sold for 157, but the estimate's 124. And then you have 115 and 101. So I mean, it's not even consistent. Some are way higher, some are way lower. So again, I've used Zillow for basically the information that they provide. I definitely did not use whatever kind of calculator they use because that calculator doesn't seem to work.
So which number are you going?
I'm going off of like 115. I mean, that's kind of what I'm going off. So now we'll also check MLS. So I'm doing a full search, single family, sold. Does anybody know what the possible cross street is, what Mill Road would go in as?
Mill Road.
6,300.
Is it 6,300? Thank you. All
No,
right,
it's more like 60.
it's close enough.
60. Okay. 66,
6,300 is Bender Road, and it's 6350.
67.
6,400.
Okay, well, we'll use 65. So I'm on the full search, single family, sold. This is how you do the radius search. You're going down to this block and range search, which originally was like this. I clicked on the link to make it expand. I'm picking a block search, and I am going to do 65 north, and this was 82 west. And I'm going to just start with 6 blocks. Okay, this was a 3-bedroom. And what's, you know, the one thing that, you know, I mean, I didn't really look that closely in Zillow. How do I scroll this screen? Oh, there it is. I didn't look that closely in Zillow if there was a way for me to filter that just by bedrooms, exact number, because I think it had the drop down, it was 3+.
Yeah,
Like, I didn't know if there was a way to just,
Plus.
they don't have a, where you can pick a max? Okay. I'm sorry, what's the garage situation on this one? Detached, okay. And I'm going to go to dates, and I'll just to see what comes up, I'm going to go ahead and do 6 months for right now, and then we can always bring it down. I want to see how many this is going to give me.
Now, just like garage, would you select those detached and?
I'm going to start it with just detached, if that's what I know it is, but let's say I only get a couple, then I might change that and add both.
Neighborhood looks like they were all detached,
Okay, so this is,
all the way down the street.
okay. And that's, yeah, and if you've already looked at the house, like if I've never seen the house, I might not even know if it's attached or detached, so I might just put both of them in there. Well, it says 47, so obviously I'm going to immediately, wait, what happened here? No, I typed in 10. I think when I checked that box, Apple must reset it to, no, it's true, because in Windows it doesn't. I'm not saying that to be funny. All right, you guys can laugh.
Bob strikes back at Dan from the grave.
See, look, why is it not letting me?
Go to the calendar. Look at the little calendar.
I actually have to switch it. Oh my God, is this the worst system ever? All right.
Click a date.
31st version.
Okay, so I guess in Apple you have to. All right, so let's do an update and see where we're at now. Now we're at 23. Okay, that's still probably too many for me, so now I'm going to start going down a little bit. Let's go down to 4. Where's my update here? 15, that's good. Because now I can start, because I know a lot of those are going to be, you know, probably fix-up ones, as you can see right away. Is there a way I can make this so it goes down? Like, what were we pushing yesterday? Was that command minus? Okay, there we go. Can you guys still read that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, 40,069. We're gonna go like this, making them go up. That other one was all over the place. 34 starts at, and it goes all the way up to 115. So, what did I originally want to get this at? Right around that 112, 115, but that's all the way at the top, right? So now I got to start figuring out, well, what happened here? So actually what I'm going to do, because I already, from the other one, I know what I want it kind of be at. So I'm going to take it back out a little bit, back out to 6 block. I mean, I really want to pick the 3. So if I'm keeping it as a 3-bedroom, and I know I'm going to put a second bath in. So I'm going to take these 3, and even though this is only 1.5, I'm going to do a selected. I'm going to do I'm now at 99, 112, 115, okay? I'm going to do a compare. And what this is telling me is that the average sale price, don't go off of list price or original price, you go off of the sales price, is 108,667. So let's just say it's right around that 108 mark. That's what I would probably comp this out at. And when you were calculating your numbers here on your sheet, you've put down that the after repair value was 100. So is that what was the reason you went over that instead of maybe closer to the
Street?
Fuji Street, across the street, there's multiple 8-family
Okay,
apartments.
so maybe 99.9 is the number.
There's not much of a yard.
Okay.
The back door goes right out through the neighbor's driveway, which I didn't like seeing, but it would be an easy house to own for a single person with a bedroom and an office kind of thing. For a family with 2 kids, I think they'd walk away. Because there's no yard. The yard has a very large patio with a fire pit that's falling apart.
So, but it's a standard lot size. It just doesn't have a yard because they've added patio and stuff, or
They basically, next to the garage is in good shape. Next to the garage, they basically took out all the grass area and put in concrete for a big patio. But if you were entertaining 5 or 6 friends on your patio, everybody on Mill Road is watching you and your picnic. It's facing the street, so I was thinking somebody's gonna need to put up some kind of a fence or small tree, like arborvitae trees or something, to separate the view of your cooking out. It was terrible. I was thinking if I was gonna rehab that house, I was gonna rip out that patio and then falling apart fire pit in the first place, and make it a yard again that kids can play in. In their own yard and have space for a swing set or something.
sure.
Because right now, there's nothing. There's no yard for this. The front of the house,
But the lot size is still a standard lot size.
it's a standard lot according to, because I drove down the street and all the yards looked really small. And this being on the corner,
It's the position that makes it.
it's the position that makes it kind of goofy, because the front yard, there's not much yard, and then it goes down a little bit of a hill to the sidewalk. There's really not much of a front yard to play in. The side of the house is where kids would play.
Tom, you just talked me out of the house.
Okay,
Right.
but I mean, if it could be made better
Well, hold on.
to rearrange it a little bit.
Yeah, but you're spending a lot of money to do it. One of the things that you saw in this neighborhood, Dan, can you go back to your screen where you had 15, when you had 15 results. Go to the 23 results, that's fine. But go to hit list, go to the top. go to the top, like not the top price, but the top. So we've got prices here, list price, cash buyer, 30,900, cash buyer, 34,900. Those are the lists. What I'd like to see, if we change the single family view up in the top right to our RDK. Now, can you go a little bit to the right? Let's see how we've got sold price, but what I don't have on here, and I got terms of sales. So what we have is on the top, we have a sold price for 25.5, cash buyer, original list was 35. What does that list just tell us? What do we see right there? No, we see, okay, it's a house that needs work, but what else do we know? An investor bought the house for 25,000. Below that, we have an investor, the house was listed at 33.9, somebody bought it for $600 over that at 34.5. We have a house listed at, that was for cash. We have a house right below that at 59.9 that sold for cash that an investor bought for 26.3. Below that, we've got a cash that was listed at 40, a cash buyer bought it for 40. Below that, we've got another cash buyer. I'm going through this, but we've got cash buyers all the way up to 44.9, 43, and then we start getting into other stuff. We've got a cash buyer at 45, cash buyer at 66. All right? So there's two things that we've got there.
Well, there's a lot of cash buyers.
That's right, because what's happening? We've got, like your house, a 3-bedroom, 1-bath with a concrete backyard. I might not want to live there, but what might I want to do? I want to buy it as a rental. So you put together your repair list here and you came up with $32,000 worth of work, but I wonder how much of that would have to be done to make it rent ready. Did it have a roof?
The roof was in good shape.
Did it have a furnace?
The furnace was 6 years old.
Okay.
The water heater was maybe a couple of years older than that.
Did it have a kitchen?
Yeah.
So running water, you went to the house and you can see it, everything works. Anything on there that, to make that thing rent ready, what would you have to do?
The kitchen would definitely have to be redone.
Why? Tenants need a new kitchen?
Old. Just,
Old but not functional?
it was functional. It looked horrible. It was stuck in 1950.
Well, so from a rental perspective, we can often, look, some of those ugly old cabinets are built like tanks. Sometimes it's a matter of cleaning them up, painting them, replacing countertop knobs if you need to add it. You can get there really ineffective. My point is, what have you just identified with this property at 30,000? A potential rental. We know that there's cash buyers buying up to $45,000. My guess is they're buying for rental. Some of them are flipping. The 3 houses that we had sold on at 115, 110, 125, they bought them for 30 to 40,000 as well, and then they flipped them. But that house just may not be a good candidate for owner finance. For flipping, but it might be a good candidate for rental. So go out there, take a look at it, compare it with your sold, put it under contract, and then float it out there. Now, one of the things that you can do is, even with Zillow, you've got all the addresses of these houses that sold for 30, 40,000. You can then go onto the city website and see who the sellers are, who the buyers are of those properties. Call them up and say, hey, I've got a house in the neighborhood that you just bought. I'd be interested in selling it for $40,000 cash. It needs about $3,000 to make it rent ready. I can close whenever I can close. Are you interested in seeing it? And work your way through that list of all those people and potentially get a good wholesale. Right? So I mean, you've got a good house in a good area, especially from the tenant perspective. Especially if I'm facing a whole bunch of 8 families, and I'm on kind of a busy street, I'm on that corner. High visibility, a little bit easier to maintain and for rentals, but I would not be excited about that house from a flip perspective at all. I think it'd be really hard to sell.
Is this right that on here you say they owe 103?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
But the guy, he's an older gentleman. They moved to New Berlin in a retired living community, and he wants to just get rid of it. He knows that it's not in condition to put it on the market.
but he has. How did they end up with a loan then?
I don't know.
Well, they refinanced it a couple of years ago, and
At
somewhere.
125% back in the day.
who knows?
Jeez.
So here's the question, guys. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that this was mortgaged. What did you just create for yourself? No, it's just a short sale lead. There's nothing you can do with this one. Once you realize that they,
I thought about that, once we go there.
the moment you looked at it and saw that they owed, $100,000 in an area that you thought was 100,000, there wasn't any magic you could do other than figure out how could you make a few bucks referring to somebody to work at a short sale.
I'm gonna go ahead and change this to Milwaukee County. I'm gonna pick Brown Deer. Again, it's a sold. I'm putting in 3 bedrooms.
Pending.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm looking for comps here. So this is an attached garage on this one. This is the 84 North, 51 West. I'm assuming is this right on the busy street of 51st, or does it have the
Service drive.
Okay, does it have a service road? Okay, good. So we're gonna go and change the dates again. And I gotta remember that I'm in Apple, so I gotta do this like really crazy thing where I know I do. It's kind of fun actually. All right, so I've picked from October till now. Okay, it's like I said, I did 3 bedroom, attached garage. Let's see what this is. 10. That's actually a good start. 6 blocks. And one thing you have to remember now that I'm in Brown Deer, inside the city of Milwaukee, houses are a lot closer together. City lots aren't near half acres. When you get up into Brown Deer, a lot of the houses now have half acres. So you're not going to be as scrunched together. Just keep that in mind. And if you start getting into subdivisions and stuff where you've got, an entire, where the lot is a full acre or an acre and a half or whatever, you might have to go further than the 6 blocks. You might have to go out to 10 blocks, which is about a mile radius. So I just wanted to tell you that. So okay, it's 10. I'm going to do a view. Rule. I mean, if you're really out there, and like I said, you start with then 10 blocks because that's a mile. And if you have to go out a little bit more, you might have to. We just did, one of our students had a place out in Lisbon that we ended up, I think our comps, we had to go out mile and a half before we got enough comps, because the houses also, you're not as many houses are selling because there's not as many houses. So, all right. And I'm still in single family. I'm gonna go back by price, ascending. Okay, so we've got on the low end, $70,000. Okay, 80s, 90s, 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 136, 158. I mean, I can just look at these pictures here. I don't know if you guys can see those. These are like brand new houses, or pretty darn close to it, I would guess. Plus they've got they're big. So I mean, these are completely out of there. This one here, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, single family, maybe a possibility. But what if you were looking at these without going into a whole lot of details? What are you thinking? Yeah, right? 90s to 100s, within 100 under. I could probably pick in 1388. That's still okay. So I would probably pick those 4, switch it to selected, go to compare, and the sold is 94 for the average, 93.5 for the median. So right around that 94 mark. What is the price that you could buy this at?
It's appraised at.
Appraised?
It's appraised at 84 something.
Appraised or set?
What is it?
It's assessed at 138. And I bought it for 70, and I paid too much.
Is this one we were talking about yesterday? So you actually haven't bought it yet.
It's pending.
Right, but we talked.
Before you came here today, you were about to buy it for 70.
Correct.
Are you still going to buy it for 70?
I'm going to get all of my documentation together to submit back to HUD to show that it has foundation and the full-fledged, full contractor type prices, so that they need to disclose it. It then becomes an uninsurable property to FHA people. So put it back online, and then I'll rebid at the appropriate number based off of the numbers.
Okay.
No.
But
Good.
All right, so what are you estimating?
Weekend well spent.
yes,
Yeah.
very much.
So we'll send you the bill for that. So in your best estimate now with
You all saved me thousands of dollars.
okay, well let's go off based on the estimates that you had already made. Now that you're also adding more basement issues, what are you thinking in the number of repairs?
I have actual.
She's at 16 here. I'm gonna guess it's half of that.
Yeah, I would have to guess, especially if we're doing foundation stuff, let's just say it's 40.
It's actual numbers. I have
Well,
hard copy estimates.
okay.
For my numbers.
All right, why don't you read those
Okay,
off
well,
for us?
all right,
then?
guys, so here's her repair estimate. This is what she's come up with. Was the house listed?
Yes,
Why don't you
HUD.
just pull it up on
Like a
the
HUD.
photos. Address is 80. Quick addresses, multiple. Let's do a multiple address.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do multiple address. And then, so 8426,
Mhm.
26, North 51st. Okay,
We got the north.
that is short.
It doesn't matter, there's not. And if there is, then, so it's this pending one?
Pending one, all right, so pull up just that one. There's the house. Let's hit the photos. So this is what she's at, listed at 84. You got it under contract for 70. Let's go down.
Hold on. I am almost positive that this is a house that I rehabbed. It is positive rehabs. What are the odds of that? This was beautiful 5,
It
6
is,
years ago.
It's not a bad house. I mean,
That-
it's moving.
I saw that address and I was like, what the heck? This looks so familiar. And I actually fixed the foundation on the one side. We put the metal beams
And
up.
It needs metal beams on 2 more sides.
Okay,
now.
so it's gotten worse.
It's gotten worse.
Okay.
And I was
Driveway
going
looks like
to,
they
I was gonna
maintained
knock
the
out
driveway
one of the
well
walls
since
of
they
the
bought it.
kitchen.
We actually did reseal that. Yeah, we refinished the floors.
All right. I want to make sure everybody can hear us.
There's my kitchen. I opened up this wall. I should, if I had my old hard drive here, I could actually probably bring up the original befores on this. This is too funny. What are the odds of this? There's my rehabbed bathroom. We got the ceramic.
I was gonna rehab the other bathroom. I was gonna keep this bathroom the same and rehab I was gonna rehab because there's cracked,
This was all brand. This was all brand new.
And right down by where the tile is
Yeah.
on the floor, it's cracked. So I was gonna put in a new sink in this bathroom and basically retile the floor and shower.
Okay. Well,
And the closet doors are missing, so I already.
oh, we don't put closet doors in when we rehab houses. I'm just kidding. Yeah, because this one was kind of like the master. There was
Yeah.
like the master that kind of had its own.
Did you take away from the closet space to put in that shower stall?
No, that was already there.
Oh, it was.
I did not add that.
I like the new windows, the new roof, the newer kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, this house was brand new when we were done with it, so.
Go back to the list. How much? Oh, right back there. How
It
much
is a
did
nice-
you- How much did you sell it for back in 2006?
Yeah, let's go. I don't remember the exact.
150.
153.
Yeah!
That's what I'm talking about then. Oh, that's how you get taken care of business, baby.
I realized though that it went into a
Hold on,
double,
hold on, hold on. Let's look at this though.
that it went into a double foreclosure because after he sold it to her, it's been empty again for another 2 years. So the woman only lived in there less than 3 to 6 months.
Way to put her under, Dan.
Well, just so you know, the way that it worked is I had a partner on this. And don't ask, I don't remember exactly why we did this, but I actually got this house for 70. And then we marked, I don't remember why we did this. Like when we then put it into the LLC's name, we put it as a recording of I don't remember why we did this, I have to be honest with you.
It's a lot easier to sell on.
But I mean, well, because if you were to look at it and be like, oh my God, he paid 100, he'd probably put at least, 35 into it. He didn't make anything. But we actually bought it for 70. And I don't remember, I don't know if we did it like this because our budget was a certain dollar amount, or I really don't remember. So I apologize for that I can't give you more details. But yeah, so we originally paid 70. I think we ended up being into it for about 110, and then we sold it for the 153.
$40,000 you couldn't put in a frickin' closet door?
There were closet doors.
Where did my update?
So
my list?
yeah, we got to get back away from the fact that I bought this and made it look awesome. So yeah, she's probably not that far off with the repair estimate of only 16, because other than some closet doors and some new bathroom floors, this house is done.
Driveway.
The drive, yeah, the drive.
Take a look at that.
Okay,
So let's go back. So we went through the photos. She's got, let's see that one.
you look at this. I can bring up the
Oh,
photos
alright, so
again.
she's got-
And many of the things are optional because the kitchen is fairly
Well,
updated.
if we're trying to
if
sell
I
a house
did it
right now,
right.
there's not that much that's optional though. So just a couple things. Roof, no, the roof was okay.
Brand new.
Yeah,
Exterior paint and siding, it's all good.
yeah.
Windows, all good. Garage door,
New.
okay.
Yep, newer garage door.
Furnace,
That was,
HVAC, all that.
I remember that, I'm pretty sure that was newer as well.
Right, you've got $1,000 to replumb the basement. What happened down there?
There's nothing wrong with it, I was just going to do the plastic lines on it. And there's really nothing wrong with it if I decided to not take that into consideration. The only, code compliance right now is that I put a few faucet handles on for the washer dryer tub area.
All right, I will tell you guys, looking at this kitchen, that was pretty sweet for 2008.
Yeah.
That's what's selling 2013.
No, I would do it differently now.
Yeah.
I was
Still
planning
selling
on
though.
taking
Like what?
that right side wall out and then putting a dishwasher next to the sink and taking the current cabinetry, facing it towards that back sink
This
wall.
wasn't a big kitchen though, I mean,
No, it's not.
No.
where would you put the stove? The stove is obviously supposed to go right here.
Re-
Refrigerator's on this side. It was a smaller kitchen, that was one disadvantage of it.
I was gonna just put it on the parallel wall after you took that wall out facing the living room
These-
and then put like a kitchen island in.
These cabinets are, like I said, cool for 2008.
Well, these were hobo,
Right,
but they were just
the
the,
hobo cheap maple. This was
Yeah.
the upgraded maple, maybe.
yeah, now I use the nicer, way nicer cherry and,
Right.
but this was when houses, you did the bare minimum sometimes and they would just be like boom, boom,
Right,
boom.
and there's no question, this